And I can't lean it against the wall. There goes that idea, because that just wants to cut the camera off and on. I'll just have to, I'll figure a way to do it. I have to come way over here. It's thundering alright. See, I'm going to get a close-up of this. It's called a flourish. I usually do better than this, but for some reason I'm trying to do it with the camera. I can't do it right. I did this in church, and the boys and girl teens like, wow, how'd you do that? I said, it's called a flourish. Doug Henning does it way better than me. Well, if I don't look at the camera, maybe I can just do it this way. I can do it when I'm not looking at the camera. Looking at the camera, I can't focus. What is that? Jack of Diamond? Now it's 8 of Diamond. Xavier Spade let me know that it's not the Blackstone Jr., Harry Blackstone Jr. top bottom chain. I didn't know the name of it. Xavier Spade said, Bill, that's the top bottom chains, and it's older than Harry Blackstone Jr. I said, oh, okay, thanks. I just seen him do it on 3-2-1 contact, and I may be reading Rainbow. I can't remember, but I just memorized the move, and I was like, oh. And David Blaine does that too for the 2-card Monte. See, if I'm looking at the camera, I'm not focusing. If I do it like this, I can do it without. See, I can do it. I don't understand when I look at the camera, I can't focus. But when I don't look at the camera, I can do the move. People are teaching this one right here. Rub for static electricity and raise the card up. I know how to raise a card up, but I can't do it. Well, I know what it is. I need to cut my fingernails. Anyway, they show it this way, which is good, but I'm used to doing it this way. I don't even know if you can see it. I could really have some fun if I would just know what I'm doing. See, if I don't look at the camera, I can do it. But see, I do it with my finger. See, I do it with my finger. And anytime you stick it, you can do a rising card trick without using the gaff. I even said you could even do a funny clown version. Achoo! And the card flies out. I did that to some kids, and they go, wow, that was funny. And then I did it the serious way. Wow, how'd you do that? That's how it was in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Because of Doug Henning and Copperfield. They did it in Lance Burton and Ron Ferrari and all that. They did it the clean way. But today's audience, no offense, but even the camera people have to bleep out the audience's reaction. Because, oh man, very funny. Because there's a lot of foul lingo. Where in the 70s and 80s, you've never heard of it. You could do a neat, nice magic routine, card routine, egg bag. I did all that, and the kids and teens were amazed. They go, "Wow, how'd you do that? That is amazing. How in the world?" There was no Fowlingo in there nowhere, because we had Doug Henning, and we had David Copperfield, and we had Lance Burton, Franz Roy, Harry Blackstone Jr., even Penn and Teller. It's all clean stuff. Where the magicians today, nothing against them, I don't know if it's them or it's the way the audience is today because of video games today. It's got Grand Theft Auto, there's Fowlingo in it, and the kids figure, oh, okay, if the game has it, then we're allowed to say that. I mean, on YouTube, I'm watching a guy narrate Sonic the Hedgehog. I think, oh, that's nothing wrong with that. I share it with my church friends. But then I listen about halfway through it, and I go, oh! And I have to reply back, share it again. P.S. Fowlingo, I thought this was clean stuff since it is a Sonic the Hedgehog game that's clean, but I didn't know the person that's talking about the game is also adding Fowlingo. The idea is to do a video with no Fowlingo. If you want to make it kid-friendly without having to put a kid-friendly symbol, we wouldn't have that kind of problem of any video. It's not rocket science. 2 plus 2 is not 1,000. Even Jay Sankey. Even when he explains an illusion, I don't think he says any Fowlingo. And if he did, it was like a slip. But you don't hardly see it because he doesn't want it. He grew up the way we grew up. I'm Paul Gertner. I got all his videos. And you know what? Even the missionaries like it. There's one thing, they like his sleight of hand, and another, they use it as an object lesson, and another, it's clean as a bell, no Fowlingo whatsoever. Because Paul Gertner knows how to do a video. Even Michael Amar on thread work with his friend that teaches all about thread work, there's no foul. Even Kevin James Floating Bros with him explaining the added tips from Copperfield, there is no Fowlingo in it. I don't know if you got a video today, would there be a Fowlingo in it? If it is, then we're in big trouble because we never heard of that. I mean, you want to be able to put a video in, or a DVD, or watch a YouTube video of any kind, or a video game, with no Fowlingo. And when you do a magic show, there should be no audience Fowlingoing. In the 70s, 80s, you never heard of that. Well, like God said, when He's coming back, the world's going to go crazy. It'll be like the days of Noah and Sodom and Gomorrah. It'll be so wicked that He's going to come and take over this world and destroy the person behind it all, which is the Antichrist, which is Lucifer, Satan, the devil. The idea is to get saved, because God's right around the corner, and, you know, God says that mankind can't hide anywhere. I mean, look, we have web video cameras. We have satellites that have video cameras on it. We have traffic lights that have video cameras on the top. And now they add antennas on them. They have 360 cameras in some areas, pressing all of them. And what used to be a yellow-orangish traffic light is now either painted all gray or all black. It's like a black, grayish, gloomish world. And then came the plague, the locusts. And someone said, as Pastor Archer said when he was getting his tire fixed, this sounds something like out of Egypt in the Bible. And he said he didn't even know I was a pastor. And he brought that up. And we were like, wow, that says something. At least that guy must have been a Christian, a born-again Christian, to say that. not even knowing that that Pastor Asher getting his tire fixed was right there listening to a guy bringing him up Bible scenarios. Because God said there will be plagues when he's coming back. The food, you won't be able to eat it. The water not be drinkable. I mean, 9/11, he tried to wake us up. Now 2020, we're waking us. God's trying to wake everybody up again. We're not in control. He is.
When you call me at 11 o'clock, make
Yeah.
sure you pick up your tissue.
Yeah, very funny.
So when you call me at 11 o'clock tomorrow,
Yeah.
can you remind me to turn on my cell phone?
Okay.
My mom's cell phone, today is her last day from the
Oh,
Walmart phone.
yeah, I
Because she's
know.
having problems. She's trying to get another phone.
Phone, yeah.
She's not going to have a phone. So she's going to use Banshee's phone tomorrow. And around 7 o'clock, they're going all the way to Suffolk. Suffolk. Way out in Suffolk, where my Uncle Jimmy lived out.
Okay, because we were talking about Virginia Beach. Is that what it is?
No, way out in Suffolk.
Oh,
Way out.
Out in the boondocks.
Yes. So she's going to have to use Banshee's phone.
Okay.
In case that she needs to call me for some reason.
Yeah.
When you call me at 11 o'clock, make sure you remind me in order to turn my cell phone on. I'll make a note. I need to have it turned on in case she needs to call.
Okay. Although Bob Scoper would make a funny out of it. What, a musical note? Anyway, back to what I'm doing. But anyway, and mankind learns to fly like the birds. We got so much technology. Even Pastor Cole's message, the knowledge will increase. We got so too much technology that used to be science fiction, now is science fact. Fact is stranger than fiction. We have anti-gravity, we have cloaking devices, we have force shields, we have force fields, we have ion propulsion, we have nuclear engines, we have so much technology, but the government makes it like we're just still in the rocket stages. Anyway, but Ben Rich, someone heard him say, we have the technology, in a figure of speech, to take E.T. home and back. That Steven Spielberg and George Lucas would be in awe what we've come across and accomplished. Now think about all that, folks. How far we've come in knowledge. Okay. Children will get smarter way earlier than ever before. We have boys and girls, 3-year-olds can solve a Rubik's Cube. And some kids got their own business. Like God says, knowledge is going to increase and children will get smarter than ever before. And David Hasselhoff, when he read the script, he was saying, this is the way of the future. Cars that drive by themselves, I'll play this character. And he treated the car like a horse, like Trigger, and it worked. And he really thought that voice was the voice of Kit. And then when he met him, it's really an actor, William Daniels, who played on Boy Meets World, the teacher, and St. Elsewhere as one of the doctors, and probably some other shows. But anyway, it even came up on a Jeopardy question, and it was in a, and they had a quiz in a newspaper, and the girl got the answer right, and she won a prize. Anyway, knowledge will increase. I was praying to Jesus to be able to learn all the Doug Henning and Copperfield illusions, and he answered my prayers purfold. I know so much about illusions that I've had to have my own understanding of how to build it, I could do like all the big illusionists of today. But I don't have the right connections like they do. And some people get upset because of Jonathan Pendragon revealing Houdini Subtrunk. But I can go into a library and go look it up. I forgot what book, but it had every subtrunk information on trapdoors, on the top, on the front, on the side. It's the canvas one where you're double. It's a subtrunk with a canvas over top of it, and the trapdoors are either on the left or the right side of the trunk. In a Genie magazine, they showed it the traps in the front, but it was more like a comedy, like oop, the curtain drops and the magician's, okay, you see the trick. There's a trap in the front. It's more of a comedy version. But there's traps on the top. They either go downward inside, or they pop up like a medicine bottle and slide open, or in the back it swings inward. That's the kind we had. Swings inward, and then it has a hinge, but you can't see it because of the cloth in such a way. And the square piece, like a puzzle, and the one fits perfectly with a screw or a nail to be able to pull it out, but it looks like part of the box. Matt Galloway's dad was wanting to know if there was a way out because his son Matt was claustrophobia. I looked at Matt. Dave Duncan looked at Matt, Tommy, and Matt said, well, I can get out. And Dave said, why didn't you tell us that? So I just went like this. His parents, Mr. Galloway and Miss Galloway, was in the garage. Wanted to know if it was safe because Matt was claustrophobia, although Matt didn't let us know that. I guess Matt had his reasons, but anyway, he said, well, you don't need to tell us, Bill, and he just wanted to make sure. So I just went and showed him. I just undid this area that unlocks the swivel trap and showed that there is an out. And it was my idea to use a flashlight so when it's dark you can see in there. And then I read some magic books on subtrunks. The Tavo course that Dave Duncan has all the complete 8 volumes because the 8th is the newest one. Because Gary Al Bartlett suggested books and said that David Copperfield, Dave did read your letter, and he asked that I write back to you. Get the books all by Daryl Fitzke. The Trick Bane, So Many Simple Combinations, and Magic by Misdirection. And he mentioned the Tarvo course. Anyway, we went to Chuck Winnie's magic shop when he was in Norfolk. Later he moved to Ocean View in the warehouse area. And later on, Howard Chapel, Patokas, pastor, preacher, missionary, St. Kitts and Aruba, children's worker, with Bob Schofield, KTM Motocross, Christian Luna's church member since 1980s on up, friend. We all went into Chuck Winnie's magic shop. And Chuck Winnie always said, there's the Portsmouth gang. Anyway, now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, Chuck Winnie, his dog Amy, and you got Merman, the Great Scott, and Ron Mandu. Anyway, Chuck showed all he had on inventory on sale. So Dave got all the Tarbo courses, he got all the Daryl Fitzke's. I got the Trick Brain one. No, not Trick Brain. I got the Magic by Misdirection. Later on, Mitch Leary sent me a website that had them all, and I could read them all in a PDF file. Someone uploaded a PDF file of Gene Anderson newspaper with the drawings, which is good. And my nephew William was looking at it. And there was at least 2 magicians, a Chinese or Japan, and Hindi magician, showing how to do it, and so did Nadjev at HAFFAF. He showed that in the Hensclock version, and Hensclock was showing how to do it too. I mean, Jonathan Pendragon, he goes to show the sub-trunk and everybody gets mad. And he says, it came out of his own pocket. It ain't like, why would people get mad? And even on Jonathan Pendragon, Master of the Magnificent, born-again Christian, karate expert, TV stunt worker, same for Charlotte Pendragon. They say it like this: anybody can do these illusions, or actually they say anybody can do these props. It's the performer that makes it magical. And Charlotte said, you want to learn how to do the Vanishing Cup? Stay tuned, and I'll show you. This is the one that Jonathan taught me, my first magic trick, Charlotte says. Now Charlotte's branched out on her own, and Jonathan is now married to another lady, and they're sharing a happy life together. And Charlotte Pendragon's married to a puppet guy, and they're happy together. God's ways are not our ways. Because Charlotte and Jonathan Pendragon, you would have thought they would never separate. But God has his reasons. And I was praying for Jonathan to get back up on his feet. He answered my prayers, and I'm sure everybody's prayers. Even Jonathan was talking about how the birdcage worked that he used. And the line he talks about a condo and all that. He said anybody could use that line. AOT.magic.secrets in Google search engine. A big shout out to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I don't have Twitter. I need to make a Twitter. Facebook, Twitter. I can't even think of them all. Blog. Just think Captain Kirk Stardate blog or log. See, all that stuff is reality now. That used to be science fiction. But now science back. We have cloning. We have cloaking, visual stealth, anyway, bending light. Well, you get the idea. Everybody, this is a trick that, so you show the 5 of diamond, put it in the middle, ripple again, and it's back on top. Now stick it in the middle again, and some people think it's on top, but it's not. And when I tap it, it's back on top. And then now it's a different card now. I thought everybody does it this way. It's called the elevator card. And I found the original one and found out that method is not the way everybody's doing it. So I decided to teach it. I used instead of 2 cards first, I used 3 cards. I make 3 cards look like 1. Well, I know what I'm doing when I do it. See, when I look at the camera, I'm not focusing. When I don't, well, you get the idea. You do a triple lift to make it look like 1 card. Really, there's 3 cards. But you get, by feel, with practice, you'll do it just like that. And you'd show that card, as one card. And you put it down. And you take the top and put it in the middle. And of course it's not going to be the card. But they think it's a card. Illusions in the mind. And when you riffle this time, you do a double lift. And show that it's back on top. But really there's two cards right there. But it looks like, wow, I jumped back to the top. Now when I stick it in the middle again, I say some people would think it's on top now, but it's not. And that's when I do another double lift. And then I tap it, and then I just hold one card, and it'll be it. And then I do the, nobody does this Blackstone. I like this Blackstone so much that when people do the thing like the Street Mask Magician, and David Blaine does it the way I did it, and then in the next special, he did a tribute to the Street Mask Magician, and did it like he did it. Anyway, even Chris Ramsey and Jarek 2.0 at How to Disturb Reality, they do it like this. They take it, they show this card, and when they want it, they put this on top, and then they just take that right off the top. And then go like that and do it. But even with the 2-card Monte. But mine, I do the one I saw Harry Blackstone Jr. do. You go under and take the top. I'm so used to doing that I can't do it the way that Street Mask Magician does it. Nothing against him. But anyway. Okay, I came across that idea of watching Nickelodeon over Sean Dowdy, Francis Dowdy, Buddy Dowdy, William Dowdy, Shannon Dowdy, Mike Dowdy. Anyway, the Dowdy family's house, watching Nickelodeon, and we didn't have that kind of stuff back then. We just had Air TV with antennas with aluminum foil. That's how we had it back in the day, in the 70s and 80s. But anyway, Sean Dowdy's parents at Nickelodeon, they had magic segments and all that. Anyway, we put the thing in there. But anyway, they like me doing magic tricks and stuff. And Mike Dowdy, he liked to cook, and I told him an idea for spaghetti that my dad Marcel does to get the starch out, put the spaghetti without the sauce in the colander, run cold water, and then drain it, and then you add the sauce later on. And he says he's never did that before. He always does after he cooks, he puts the sauce in. And everybody enjoyed it, and they said, and Mike Dowdy said, "Thanks, Bill. That idea worked." I let my dad Marcel know that his idea was a good idea. It tasted much different and tasted better. Anyway. Anyway, I did the Nickelodeon. It was Amazing Kreskin, and he did a trick to make the aces appear, all 4 aces appear, to come up at the top. And I saw what he was doing, but I just used it for just an elevator card instead, like I just showed you, and everybody enjoyed it. But I tell them where I got the source from. I got the Amazing Kreskin idea that he did for mind reading aces, and I just took it as an elevator card. I used to have a book, How to Be a Fake Christian by the Amazing Christian, and later on there was a kid that really was into magic and illusions, and so I gave him the book to get real good at it. And it's like Bob Schofield is into illusion and motocross, and he knows I'm in illusion, so he's helped me a lot. Took me to see my first Copperfield show at Chrysler Hall, and then the second time, not only did me and him get to go, but his wife Judy got to go see a live show at Copperfield, and she enjoyed it. Then later on, Tommy Story and Mrs. Story paid for My Way, and is her son Tommy Story, and his niece, not niece, his nephews Andy Story and Bobby Story. The youngest nephew, Thomas Story, by the time he was born, Copperfield never got to perform at Chrysler Hall no more. But I did make a lot of DVDs on how-to videos and stage illusions, and made them. And he wanted Street Hawk, so I gave him all the episodes Street Hawk, thanks to someone uploaded on YouTube. And Dave Duncan showed on his Facebook that he bought it. I was like, where did you get that whole collection of Street Hawk on DVD? He mentioned he ordered it on Amazon or something. We're not allowed to do that kind of stuff. We have to do a walk-in store. Anyway, magic shops are going out of style. They have the internet, and everything's going on the internet. And the stores themselves, like that you walk into, the people don't check you out. You scan your own food and put your own money in. Like God says, it's becoming a cashless world. When it becomes a cashless planet, that's another sign that he's coming back. We don't know the hour, minute, or second, but he says be on the lookout. There'll be wars and rumors of wars. One world government, cashless society. Man learned to fly like the birds. Mankind will not be able to hide anywhere. We have lasers that can see through mountains. And they mention a helicopter has a built-in stealth laser. Put it together, folks. Either it was the Great Scott or Penn Russell the Magician. I was mentioning in the Genie magazine, because I saw him do that, and I was like, because he mixed the cards up, and then they became all normal. And I said, can you teach me that? Because in the Genie magazine, I read it, but there's no drawings or anything, and I just can't. So he showed me, and then I just kept it in my mind, even though we were riding the roller coasters and all this other stuff. At Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and then Jesus helped me have an idea. No, why not do the trick where all the cards are all mixed up and all normal? Why not make the spectator's card the only card face up? And then I watched the Michael Amar lecture video, and I go, that's the line I'll use, because it's another card routine that he uses. Something, your card is face up among the face downs. I can use it for that card trick that Penn Russell showed me. And my dad was really amazed that I came up with my own trick. And I said, well, actually, the part where the card is up face up among the face downs, but Penn Russell showed me what I couldn't understand in Genie magazine. And my dad said, still, Bill, that's clever to come up with that idea. Okay, thanks. I think my dad was glad that I could do that. And my dad was really amazed that Herb Newman paid $100 to learn that trick that Doug Henning and Copperfield has done. And on World's Greatest Magic, they were going to show how to do it in between commercials. And I said, well, they're going to reveal it. I'm going to tell you how it's done. It looks like the handkerchief is cut and put back together, but it's two separate triangles. And when it came in, they showed that it was two triangles. And my dad was really appreciated and amazed that I knew that before they revealed it. It's just like, and that made my day that I knew it, knew it, and my dad realized that I was right. When my dad saw Criss Angel walk through a window, he said, "Bill, how's he do that?" I said, well, it's based on a trick that I had, and now I got the Criss Angel one. It's the same thing. It looks like a glass. The glass it's like the Alice to the Looking Glass. There's a cut, and it slides up, and the other half stays, and then he comes through. Now the guy that owns it, he knows it. He's just acting amazed, and then after the show, the audience is still amazed because they have no clue. And after the show, the guy, he probably paid the guy and saying, "Thanks for letting me use your store and rig your window up." And then they put the real window back. And my dad said, "Oh, I wondered how they do that. Thanks." And my dad was a good figuring out illusions too. When he saw Copperfield, the Great Wall of China special, he said, "I bet somehow she's bent behind there somehow, but how do they do the legs? But that's a fake head." So I showed him an Amateur Magician's Handbook by Henrietta that Copperfield suggested, but a guy named Dave gave it to me. I'll explain that in a minute. It shows the dollhouse, how she's in between a wall and between the real house, and the thing folds down and she pops up. He said, "Yeah, that's how they did that." And I was like, my dad figured it out. It's called Lady Without a Minnow. And then I showed the Abbott's plans I had, and he'd figured it out anyway, and it's revealed on The Masked Magician. So I showed all the plans. But the Paul Gertner illusion plans from the Genie magazines, I should have let him see all that. He would have been impressed. I didn't know he was really, well, I should have thought about it. He took wood shop. He's good at building. I should have let him look at all those Genie magazines that Bob gave me, Bob Schofield. But anyway, when I saw that special, I was praying to Jesus that I could, when I saw it, when it first aired, I was praying to Jesus that I would get the book, somehow get that Emergency Handbook by Henry Hay. Next you know, the very next day, there was a kid on the bike that I know. His name is Dave. I forget his last name. He said, "Hey, Bill." "Yeah?" "I was cleaning my room up, and I thought you'd want this book." "Why, you look like you've seen a ghost." "Well, I was praying to Jesus that I could get that book because Copperfield, after the Great Wall of China special, he suggested the Milbourne Christopher and the Emerson Magician Handbook. These and many other books are waiting for your library to read more about it. And he said, "Well, Jesus answered your prayers. Here's your book." See, God was in it all the way. And I'm sharing on the internet, YouTube, and sharing all my videos, and everybody, even this guy named something, How to Get Rich Magic YouTube channel or something like that. Anyway, he surprised me. He gave me recognition. He mentioned my name. I'd like to thank Bill Green for his collection of YouTube videos, because I said everybody can freely make copies of my videos I upload on my YouTube Bill Green channel, and that includes magic specials, because I have all the Doug Hennings, all the Copperfields, I have Euro Disney, I have Magic at the Magic Kingdom, I have Melinda the First Lady of Magic, CBS Magic Show, the very first Champion of Magic in Monaco. I think I'm the only one that has all of that. I could be wrong, but I looked everywhere else and I was thinking, well, I need to upload it because nobody has that. And I'm uploading all the Doug Henning and Copperfields. There's nothing against this generation, but whenever they see a magician today, and even on America's Got Talent, on the Philadelphia Eagles, Don Barra, anyway, he's a football player, but he does magic. Every one of those people are good on there. And every once in a while they might have Kevin James, he's good at it. He's a classic pro magician, and even his sidekick, which that sidekick was helping Siegfried and Roy out. That lady that changed into a tiger for the Siegfried and Roy show also helped Doug Henning's show, even the magic show. Anyway, and Copperfield did one called The Magic Man. He did all the illusions. Anyway, David Blaine is what helped to do street magic, and my dad said, hey, he does stuff like you. I said, yeah, sure does. Whenever there was a magic show on, my dad would call me downstairs, or when I moved in with the stories, I get a phone call, hey Bill, Chris Angel's going to be on Oprah Winfrey show. Okay, thanks. And when I was at my parents' house, Mr. Blanford would say, is it Mr. Blanford or Mr. Evans would call me up. He said, Copperfield's going to be on TV tonight. He's going to walk through a wall. Okay, thanks. And then, no sooner that, a friend of mine named Trinity called me up to let me know the same thing. Oh, thanks, Trinity. Anyway, I was glad that everybody's always thinking of me. And Aaron, one time I had to work with my dad at Larry Amplon's, and the familiar family one, and I was like, oh well. And Aaron saved the day. He said, Bill, I knew you would want to have this. I recorded on a cassette. It ain't on video, but a cassette. And I also caught the commercial. Oh, thanks. That comes in handy. Thanks, Aaron, for thinking of me. And I was thinking, I have faith that one day I'm going to get that special. And you know what? Jesus answered my prayers. Because not only did I get that, I got all the specials through my friend Dave Duncan recording, Tommy recording and making me copies, and Michael Klein made a copy off of Beta. And I was thinking, how do you take Beta and hook it to a VCR? He says, just VCR to VCR. Oh, okay. And then Tommy wanted a copy of it, and I'm going. And then I even got a better copy of it. But anyway, Michael Klein said, I figured I'd make a copy now because we're going to go over it in class. And it'll have something else on it. And then, so now I got what Michael Klein gave us, added to what J.A. Korn, Magical Film Tape Librarian, gave us, that Dave Duncan came across. They say, if you're a member of SAM, which we are, SAM is Society of American Magicians, IBM is International Brother Magicians, and I said to Dave and Tommy, I even said to the pro magicians at the magic lectures at Chuck Winley's Magic Shop, I said, why don't you just guys merge together? I mean, you're one magician and another. Why is there a competition? Well, someone had the right idea, because some would hang out, sneak into the IBM, others would sneak into the SAM. Eventually this gave up, and the SAM and IBM did merge. So I did have the right idea. I mean, one magician illusionist to another. I mean, I'm glad someone woke up and saw the roses or a coffee or whatever floats your boat. See, I'm rambling on the history and stuff, which is good. And there's other friends around my neighborhood. Hey, Bill, I checked out this library. It's all on stage illusions. Oh, thanks. And then Miss Queeman made a Xerox copy of them, my librarian at SEC, Secondary Education Center. She made a copy of it, all the copies out of it. And then I saw the kid. I said, "Here's your book back." Well, Bill, I checked out the library. I'll get it when it's time. No, I want to give it to you now. I don't want you to have a book that's late overdue. Okay. And, hey, Bill, I'll be helping my dad, me and Cheryl, working on the house or something like that. When's Cuffer going to be on TV? I don't know, but I know he's working on making the moon disappear, and Andre Cole himself, who's a Christian illusionist, thought of some ways to make it work. Okay, thanks. Later on, he just did the tornado fire. But anyway, a lot of people think, well, David Blaine did Frozen in Time, so Copperfield melted the ice by doing Tornado Fire. That's a good idea, but before David Blaine came on the scene, Copperfield was rehearsing the Tornado Fire, doing TV interviews, and some people replied back, "Thanks, Bill, for clearing that up." I like to help out. I really do.